The most profitable remote jobs are often the most boring ones. And you might not want to hear it, but it's the truth. And many of these jobs are pretty much always hiring because most people don't even know they exist. So let me show you 9 remote jobs that might put you to sleep, but will definitely wake up your bank account. And the best part, these positions literally can't hire people fast enough. So let's dive in before someone else takes your spot. First on the list is going to be a funeral sales specialist. And listen, I know what you're thinking. It sounds very boring and also pretty morbid. But the truth is, somebody's got to do it. And this job is literally recession proof. Why? Because, well, people are always going to be dying, right? Just like they say, death and taxes are the only 2 things that you'll never be able to avoid. And in terms of what you'll be doing on a day-to-day basis in this job, you'll be selling funeral packages and services remotely. And a quick explanation of this job is you'll basically be selling funeral packages and services remotely. And typically you will be selling these products and services to a funeral home. But you also might be helping families pre-plan arrangements and manage costs. And the best thing is you can do all of it from the comfort of your home. And you can think of it like being a wedding planner, but okay, no, it's not like being a wedding planner. It's a totally different type of ceremony. Now, base pay here starts at $54,000 and commissions put it up to $86,000 a year annually. And typically there's not a lot of people who want to be in this position for obvious reasons. It's just a very uncomfortable industry in general to be in, although it is a very important industry. And so there's not a lot of competition to get into these jobs. And in many cases, you don't need a college degree or previous experience. You just need to be willing to work in the industry. And you can make pretty good money right off the bat. Now, I found this fascinating Reddit post from a funeral sales specialist. They mentioned making over $120,000 in their first year just by being compassionate and not pushy with families. So those numbers that I gave earlier of 50 to 80,000, sometimes you can make a lot more even in your first year. Now, some of the skills needed for this are going to be empathy, lots of it. You also have to have really tough skin. You're going to need to be relatively good at sales, but actually it's not a very pushy type of sales. You know, you're not some kind of sketchy used car salesman. And you also need to have strong communication skills. So the pros of this one are there is high commission potential, it's a stable industry, and you're going to be in a growing field with aging population. The cons are it's emotionally challenging and it can be mentally draining and it requires thick skin. But overall, I'm going to give this one an opportunity score of 8.5 out of 10. Why? Because there's massive demand, an aging population, and most people won't consider this field, so you basically have zero competition. Now, if you're finding value in these unique opportunities, gently tap that like button because it really helps more people discover these hidden gems. Next is going to be a user manual writer. And if you've ever wondered who writes those instruction manuals that nobody actually reads, well, you're in luck because we're about to talk about it. And a quick explanation here is you create documentation for products, software, and services. You break down complex information into simple steps, and you do it all while working in your pajamas. So you can think of it like being a translator between tech nerds and normal human beings. And the salary here, even at entry level, is about $47,000 and can go up to $76,000 a year. And the skills needed are going to be clear writing ability, attention to detail, basic technical knowledge, and patience. Lots of it. And an anecdote here is one of my subscribers landed this job with zero experience, just by taking a technical writing course and building a portfolio. And they now make $65,000 a year, working about 25 hours a week. Now, some of the pros here are a steady workflow, it's quiet, independent work, and it is in a growing field with tech expansion. Some of the cons are it can be repetitive, it does require extreme attention to detail, and deadlines can be tight. But overall, opportunity score, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Why? Well, high demand in tech sector and relatively low competition because let's be honest, it's like watching paint dry, at least for most people. Speaking of technical writing, if you want to boost your skills, Coursera is offering their technical writing certificate at a massive discount this week. So check the link in the description to save up to 50% off your first month, and I'll keep that link up for as long as I can. Just click it down in the description and the pinned comment below. Next is going to be a statistics validator. And you know those weird stats that you see everywhere, like 9 out of 10 dentists recommend XYZ? Well, someone has to actually verify those numbers. And in order to do this, you'll need to analyze data for accuracy and validity, check research methodologies, and make sure companies aren't making false claims. So think of it like being a detective, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving math problems. And the salary here starts at $40,000 and can reach up to $64,000 annually, plus bonuses for project completion. Now, some skills that you need here are strong analytical skills, statistical knowledge, attention to detail, and some basic programming can be helpful. And companies are desperate for these roles because because one wrong statistic in an ad campaign could cost them millions in lawsuits. So the pros of this one are it's perfect for math nerds, there's stable work hours, and there's pretty much no client interaction. The cons here are it can be monotonous, it does require constant focus, and there is deadline pressure. But overall, I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 8 out of 10. Why? Because there's growing demand due to data-driven marketing and strict advertising laws. Now, by the way, drop a comment below with which of these jobs interest you the most. I read every comment, and I might make a detailed video about the most requested ones. Next is going to be a WordPress support technician. And if you ever wondered who fixes websites when they break at 3 a.m., this is that position. So you'll help people fix their WordPress websites, troubleshoot plugin issues and themes, and basically be like a website doctor. And you can think of it being like an IT superhero saving small businesses one crashed website at a time. And the salary here at the entry level starts off at $42,000, and it can reach $63,000 a year with experience. Now, the skills needed here are going to be WordPress knowledge, basic HTML and CSS, problem-solving skills, and customer service mindset. And the pros are it's always in demand, it can lead to business ownership, there's flexible hours, and the cons are it can require odd hours in some situations. You do need to stay updated with changes, and it can be stressful during emergencies. So overall, I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 9 out of 10. Why? Well, WordPress powers 43% of all websites, and that number keeps growing. And if you know someone who's good with numbers or doesn't mind working a boring job, go ahead and share this video with them. They might thank you later. Now, by the way, I've seen a lot of people requesting videos and commenting on all of the work from home job scams that are out there. And so I actually put together a complete guide on remote work red flags, how to spot and avoid work from home scams. And you can grab it completely free by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below. Next is going to be a documentation writer. And this is different from manual writers. These folks document internal processes for big companies. And basically, you create internal documentation for companies, you write process guides and SOPs, and you basically turn chaos into order. And you can think of it like being a corporate Marie Kondo. But instead of organizing closets, you organize information. Now, you start here at about $69,000, you can get up to about $125,000 a year, so it pays really well. So if you're the type of person who loves organizing things, this could be great for you. And the skills needed here are clear writing ability, organization skills, interview skills, and process mapping. Now, a former pharmacy technician I knew switched to this career during COVID-19 and now makes double her previous salary working from home. So this is legit. Now, the pros here are it's high paying, there's regular hours, it's a growing field. The cons are it can be repetitive, there's lots of meetings, and there's multiple revisions. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this one an 8.5 out of 10 opportunity score because it's a little bit harder to get into than some of the other ones on the list, but it also pays better too. Next is going to be a database administrator. And you know how everyone's talking about data being the new oil, right? Well, someone needs to manage all that oil. And in this position, you maintain and protect company databases, you ensure data is secure and accessible, and you basically are just a data guardian. So you can think of it like being a bank vault manager, but instead of cash, you're protecting valuable information. And entry-level positions start at about $70,000, and you can reach up to $121,000 a year with experience. Oh, and there's a lot of super high-paying jobs that you can go into down the line that pay even more. Now, some skills that you need here are database management, SQL knowledge, security awareness, and problem-solving skills. And companies are so desperate for DBAs that one of my viewers got hired with just a certification and basic experience, and they now make 6 figures working remotely. Check out the Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate if you want to get started with something like that. That's what the viewer used. I'll put it down in the description and the pinned comment below. Now, the pros here are high salary potential, job security, and regular hours. The cons are on-call rotations, high responsibility, and constant learning is required. Now, I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 9.5 out of 10 because I've actually seen people land this job with very little experience. It's also a critical role, there's high pay, and there's growing demand. And by the way, don't miss out on more hidden job opportunities like this. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated. Now, by the way, last year, young people were surveyed and they said that the #1 career that they wanna go into is becoming a YouTuber. And I would have to agree, it's pretty awesome. So if you want to know how to become a YouTuber, I made a completely free guide called From Zero to Hero, the low-tech guide to YouTube success, and you can check that out in the description and the pinned comment below. All right, next is actuarial analyst. And if you ever wondered who calculates the odds of bad things happening, well, this is that person. And in this position, you'll analyze risk and probability for insurance companies. And you'll also create financial models and basically be a fortune teller with a calculator. And you can think of it like being a weather forecaster, but instead of predicting rain, you're going to predict financial storms. So it's kind of like a much more boring version of The Big Short. And the salary starts at $95,000 a year and can reach up to $152,000 plus bonuses based on certifications. So the pay is really, really good. And according to Investopedia, actuaries spend most of their day building financial models and spreadsheets, making them one of the few people in the world who actually use what they learned in math class. So the skills you need here are, of course, strong mathematical ability, statistical analysis, Excel mastery, and very strong problem-solving skills. The pros here are high salary potential, a stable career path, and you get to work in a respected profession. Now the cons are it is a difficult certification process, it can be repetitive, and there's a heavy mental workload. And the opportunity score, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Why? High demand, high pay, and low competition due to math requirements. Next is a lead management coordinator. And you know all those sales leads companies get? Well, someone has to make sure that they don't get lost. And that's exactly what you'll be doing in this position. You'll track and manage incoming sales leads, you'll ensure proper follow-up, and basically be a traffic controller for potential customers. Now the base pay starts at about $54,000 and you can reach up to $83,000 with experience plus commission opportunities. And again, it's one that's relatively easy to get into. You basically don't have to have any experience, or if you do have to have experience, you can very easily generate it in, just like I talk about in other videos, by freelancing or doing some free gigs on the side. Now some skills needed here are organization skills, CRM experience, communication abilities, and basic sales knowledge. And the pros here are it's a growing field, it's remote work friendly, there's a clear career path, and the cons are that it can be stressful, it does require multitasking, and there is sales pressure. And the opportunity score is 7.5 out of 10. Why? High demand, but moderate competition. Next is going to be a data taxonomy specialist. Yes, this is a job title that makes everyone say, what the heck is that? And basically, in this position, you organize and classify data for large companies, you create systems for categorizing information, and you're basically like a librarian for the digital age. Now, entry level starts around $77,000, and you can reach up to $139,000 a year with experience. And this is one of the dozens of different data-related jobs out there that are relatively easy to get into, and you can make really big money. Now, one 19-year-old on Reddit landed this job with no degree just by showing initiative and technical aptitude. And they now make 6 figures just organizing data. So you absolutely can land these types of jobs without having a college degree or previous experience. And the skills needed are organization skills, attention to detail, database knowledge, and analytical thinking. And the pros here are it does have a super high salary potential, not only in the role itself, but also other roles that you can go into later on. It's also a growing field, and there's relatively low stress. The cons are it can be monotonous, it does require constant learning, and there's limited advancement. And I know quite a few data analysts and data scientists or people just involved in data out there, and it is relatively boring. A lot of them do get bored with their work, and then they end up starting YouTube channels or something like that. And honestly, that's a very quality problem to have. And overall, I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 9 out of 10 because there's high demand, low competition, and companies desperately need data-related talent. Now, if you're interested in the best way to get educated very quickly without having to spend $100,000 on a college degree or buy a $10,000 to $30,000 boot camp, I did make a video on the best certificates that are available out there that are most likely to land you a job, and you can check that out by clicking right here.